Hello and welcome everyone to the second week lecture session. This is a pre-recorded lecture as we discussed before. So we have again two parts of the lecture. First we will talk about the operation side, and then we will talk the second element of the unit, that is project management. When we are talking the second week topic, that is the operation strategy. We're going to talk more in detail what exactly we mean by operation strategy, which derives a company's operations as the part of the business that produces and distributes goods and services. We're going to ask the same questions as every time we start the lecture, and that is what exactly we mean by operation strategy. So we can see that it has been defined that operation strategy is basically it is referred to the methods, the techniques companies using or they're applying to reach to achieve their set objective. So it is basically very simple and straightforward, but quite holistic approach. It is the broader sense that the organization basically, or any company or business, they apply operation strategy with the help of different methods, techniques, tools to or the business systems the companies they want to use or they apply in order to achieve their objectives. They can be having short-term objectives we use through operations day in, day out, and long-term objectives through operation strategy. However, by developing operational strategies, any company can examine and implement effective and efficient business system for using resources more appropriately. They have, as we discussed in the first lecture, organizations need to make the optimum use of their resources. That includes human resources, financial resources, physical resources, which includes all intangible assets of the organization, like material, machinery, the building, fixture, furniture, and of course intangible resources, data, information, in the best manner, in the more appropriate way to make organization more efficient and more effective. Operation strategy underlines basically the overall business strategy, and both are critical for companies to compete in an ever-changing market with an effective operation strategy to be in place, because the operation management professional and senior management can optimize the use of resources, including people, processes, and technology. So we are trying to use a term for the senior management to make a strategic decision. So we define strategic management decision or operation strategies, or the business strategic approach for strategic decision. So strategic decision are basically those decisions which are widespread in effect on the organization to achieve strategy that refers to define the position of the organization relative to its environment where it's practicing. So we have to see in context of the environment where we have pastel analysis, the political, economical, social, technological, legislative, and the environment itself as key factor and forces where the organization have to put in place to make a decision which gonna affect the organization for long term its operation and success. So it moves the organization basically closer to its long-term goals. So that is how we make strategic decision, where the organization have to achieve not just only short-term, mid-term, but also long-term objective and long-term set goals. So the different level of strategy. When we talk about strategy, we are taking the holistic approach, and we see in your book the Nigel Slack operations strategy is basically the total pattern of decision which shape the long-term capabilities of any type of operation and their contribution to the overall strategy This is basically includes the technology and business model are repeatedly because changing, and the changes are happening every day in the operation. So businesses must keep pace and look to the future, and they have to be competitive, and they have to be capable to achieve their short-term, mid-term, and long-term goals. So we have a level of strategy. So we look in this graphical illustration. There are basically three levels of strategy in any business world. We're talking about the corporations. We look into their corporate level strategy. We look to the business level strategy, and then of course the functional level. So there's three levels of strategy when we want to achieve the long-term goal of any organization. However, when we say operation strategy, which refers to the method companies use to reach their set objectives, we then further break down this strategy into corporate level, business level, and functional level. So the corporate strategy, when we think about the corporate, that is quite umbrella term. It is this is the wider perspective. So we have the organization long-term goals, the propositions, its initiative and strategies. So this is quite like a jigsaw puzzle. We have to bring everything together to fix the and achieve our long-term objective and goals. However, we take the example of, for example, the organization global directions and vision in context of Google. So we take Google as an international organization, and we see how Google has its different level of strategy for corporate level, business level, and functional level. So this is the corporate level strategy, going to be quite broader or holistic approach for the organization overall stability, and its approach to set a steady course for growth and to be sustainable growth. And we have a strategy for its sustainability, and again it is again the retrenchment, and we are also looking for the combination of different types of the organizations in many different time, how the organizations will be making long-term setting long-term goals and objectives and making a decision, which is again supported by the business level strategy and bottom up for functional level. So when we look into the Google, for example, corporate level strategy, we have to see what Google want to be in business, what kind of business any organization they want in corporate level strategy to decide. Strategic decision has to be taken that what is the expertise of the organization, what business the organization want to carry on. That corporate level strategy is basically the utmost goal of the organization for its existence. So what business to be in, that's the key question to answer. And then what to acquire, what exactly to be achieved in long term by the organization. So based on the corporate level, it is again important how the funding can be allocated, how the cash can be managed, and that is the lifeline for any business for its survival, existence, and expansion. Followed the corporate level, we look into the business strategy, and here we again look into the Google, and we see what is the direction and vision. Let's say if Google has a number of businesses, and one of the product they have as an Android product and a distinct function unit within the under the umbrella of the Google as a organization. And it is important for the business under the corporate level strategy, that what business has to achieve, what is its mission, and how to compete with major competitors or the rivals. So we are looking to the mission and the vision of the business, and from there we have to set the business strategy in place. However, to achieve the and get the success in business strategy that support the corporate strategy, as we said earlier from the graphical illustration in the earlier slide, it has to be supported bottom up by functional strategy. And again, we look in the example of Google, one particular product as a business venture, that's Android, and how the Android can be put in market for marketing strategy, how we can design and develop the strategy for marketing Android, its sales and marketing, its branding, advertisement, and that is where we have to do a lot of planning to ensure that the marketing strategy is one of the functions. So we have a lot of other functions. We have the accounts function, human resource, for example, we have the technology, all other key part of the system of the business. Well, let's say we talk about marketing as one of the function. So that can be a strategy which is more focused to do one important part of the business to be successful through its function, that's marketing, and we have a marketing strategy to be in place with all necessary preparation and different medium of source of marketing to be used, and how to contribute through functional strategy to business, and then again to the corporate objective to be achieved, how to manage the resources of the function, that's more important through marketing, IT, accounts, etc. So that when we achieve our functional strategy, that definitely going to be supporting, helping the business strategy, and then bottom up to the corporate level to achieve the long-term objective of the organization for its existence and its growth and expansion. So when you look again in this graphical illustration, these are the three main, level of the strategy. We have corporate level at the top, then supported by business strategy, further breakdown into functional strategy, depend how many functions are there required to support the business and how many businesses are running under the umbrella of the corporate. So we are looking to look at the key strategic decision at one end, and then what influence this strategic decisions when we are making decision, what are the key forces that influence it. So on the key strategic decision, for example, when we think about corporate, we said in the earlier slide, this is the question we need to ask from ourselves as the top senior executive of the organization, at the corporate level, that what business to be in, what required, what to divest, and how to allocate cash. So this is the where the business need to initiate itself and justify its purpose and its existence. And then the business strategy is again, we further break down corporate strategy into business strategy, and that is where we need to know each product or service under the umbrella of the corporation, that what different businesses can be offered, because businesses are growing. Like you take example of Google, or you take example of let's say Tesco, or you take example of any conglomerate which has a number of product and services, P&G, for example, and you take example of a Toyota, for example, and then we see that each business has, the corporate has number of businesses, so they may be doing at the same time, let's say Virgin Richard Branson has a business, as the basically initiated this business as the owner of the business, having the major share. They have a Virgin Airline, Virgin Trains, Virgin Media, and then take the example of Easy, for example, EasyJet, Easy Car, Easy Offices, Easy Taxis. So these organizations, they basically corporate level, and then they have different businesses. So each business has its mission, and then they have a strategic objective to achieve, and then they need to know how to compete in the competitive market with their rivals or competitors. But again, each business has number of function, and then we need a strategy for functional level, and that is very important, that we can help us to answer the question how to contribute to the strategic objective and how to manage the functions of function of resources with the help of functional strategy. And you can see here what influence all these key question to be answered at different level. So we know that the corporate level, we look into the pastel analysis, for example, the economic environment, the social, political, and the values and ethics of the organization. On the business level, again, the forces that influence on the decision making is customer market dynamics, for example, like Porter's 5 forces, competitor activity, core technology dynamics, and financial constraint. However, on the level of the functional strategy, that's important to have the right skills of the people with the right capabilities and attributes to perform different assigned jobs, and they're capable and they are trained enough. And then, of course, we need the current technology, which is not obsolete, rather it is more innovative, and the performance, recent performance of each function can help them to achieve the functional strategy that's going to support business strategy, and it will support the corporate strategy to be achieved. And these are the key elements of the or the influences on decision making at different level. When we look into the operation strategy, you can see this graphical illustration that the operation strategy basically is looking, it has a very important role. The role of the operation strategy is to provide a long-range plan for the use of the company's resources in producing the company's primary goal and services. So again, we look in here, that's look, we need to do proper planning, a strategy to be in place for operation management, the resources to be used with the optimum use efficiently and effectively, how we transform input into output, and what are the key requirements here, and how we can control and cost. So we will have the more elaborated explanation in a video which will be uploaded on the Brio shell, so you can watch in your own time. And then in the workshop we will have more discussion how the role of business strategy is to serve as an overall guide for the development of the organization's operation strategy. So the operation strategy, basically it starts with the idea that how the corporate level, business level, and functional level strategies can be supported and aligned and integrated to achieve the organization overall goals and objective. And when we talk about the operation level strategy, we are looking here both the corporate strategy and business strategy, as well as we are looking for bottom-up functional strategy, and we emergent the sense of what the strategy should be, and we're looking for the optional experience here. However, the operation strategy is shown in this graphical illustration, and you can see here that when we are looking to the operation strategy, we are looking in different perspective. So what are the after looking into the 3 different types from the business or corporate strategy, we also have the from the business level to corporate level, and then coming down to the functional level. When we say business strategy, we are also supporting it by operation strategy, and that is where the operation strategy help to provide a long-term plan for the use of the company's resources in producing the company's primary goods as well as and services. Depend if the organization is a manufacturing or is a servitization organization. But you can see this graphical illustration that we look in the perspective of resources. So when we say operation strategy in perspective of resources or in perspective of market, and we can see here that when we think and we talk in the context of operation resources, that means what operation resources can provide and can do for achieving the operation strategy from left end. And then on the right end, we see what the market position requires on the operations to do. And then from top down perspective, we can see what did the business want to the wants of the operation to be achieved. And from bottom up, that's more important to know what day-to-day experience suggests the operation should do. So the learning from daily working or delivering the different functions performing in the operations, how we get to learn to do better than before every time, to look after customer need and transform input into output. But again, top-down perspective, we need to know what business want to achieve end of the day from operation, and then how we use the best, how we can make the best use of resources from left to right and from right to left. What we need to understand the requirement of the market and need to meet the need and expectation of our customer. So the perspective from resources in operation, that is more important to, it sees the capabilities and competencies of the organization as the key to building sustainable competitive advantage. However, at the same time, the constraint and capability of operational resources could determine the strategic positioning and performance objective. So the operation resources are need to be utilized or used and applied in the best possible manner, that we have in the operation a balance for the capacity management, and we are not under-resourced or we are over-resourced. In the market requirement perspective, we see operations, how it can be using operation strategy that helps to places demand at the heart of all strategic decision and operational activities. Organization must successfully, however, to evaluate their customer requirement and build their operational priorities and performance objective around fulfilling these set objective. When we looking to the business to operation strategy, then how we can have a transformation strategy for the operation success, we also looking the nature of the operation strategy, and then the operation strategy has to provide, rather it binds the various operation decision and action into cohesive, consistent response to competitive forces by linking different processes, procedure and policies. So the product and services, they move from when they are the initial stage till its maturity. We look how the life cycle, like any other things in the world, has a life cycle. So we, in the business, when you think about operation strategy, we bring in context of the product life cycle, or if it is a service organization, we look into the service life cycle. We have again a video, small clip we're going to watch in the it will be available on the Brio, and you can access in your own time, but we will watch again during the workshop. So this is very important for understanding the product life cycle, how the product or new service will be introduced, how it's going to grow, reach to its maturity level, and then of course there is an end for any product and any service, because there may be change in the market trend, consumer behavior, and there's a new technology or innovations happening all the time. So the life cycle, it starts from its initiation when it's introduced to reach to the maturity level, and then it is gonna die and disappear and then decline. We are looking into different level of the competitive factor for achieving the performance objective during the life cycle of any product or service. And that is more important in context of the operation strategy, because we continuously want to get the growth in the business, and the product has to achieve its set objective for the with the help of its functions, business, corporate, and that can be supported by the operation strategy when we have the all plan and the goals and objective are set, as they can help for the organization to have this planning in place with the help of the operation strategy. So from left to right, we can see there can be competitive factor, and these competitive factors help the organization to achieve its objective, the performance or key performance indicator, to ensure that the organization is achieving its set targets and objective. And then we need this strategy, operation strategy, with the right planning in place, and that competitive factors can help to achieve the performance objective with the help of the operation strategy to be in place. How we do it? So we look into the competitive factor on one end. So for example, a factor for competition for the operation strategy point of view can be the price. So the lower is the price, so it makes the organization, product or service more competitive. But at the same time, can be a quality for many people. They're conscious with quality, or it depends on the nature of product and service if that is required, not only with a low price but high quality. So the competitive factor will not be price, then it will be a quality, or maybe it is the delivery time. If it is we need faster, so we need better, but at the same time, if the competitive factor is a better, not just faster, or faster or not just better, or combination of both. And then reliability can be a factor for competitiveness, and innovation for the as per the need and expectation of the customer, to make it more customized, more tailor-made as per the requirement of the customer. So looking on the competitive factor on one end, let's see what will be the objective, performance objective based on this competitive factor. So the objective will be, we have to, if you want to have a low price, then at the same time we need to minimize the cost. So the input cost can only be minimized with the help of operation strategy if the goal is in place and we have long-term planning, and we have, let's say, customized production, or we do a mass production, or we have to again look into the requirement that if you want to reduce the price of the product or service, how it can be done if the cost is high. So how we can minimize the cost, then the price of the product can be offered on a very low price, competitive price. Again, performance objective can be a quality, to ensure quality, high quality to be achieved. How we going to do it? With the factor, which is the high quality, and we want the objective through performance as quality. Again, if the delivery is required with a fast pace, then the speed will be one of the objective. And then if we have to be more reliable, dependability is the objective. And if we want to be innovative with more customized or tailored services, then of course we have to be flexible with the objective. The life cycle, you can see in this graphical illustration, what are the factors, what elements has its role at the life of the product or service. So from the customer point of view, we are looking here to the competitor, and then again likely the order winners, the segment of the market they want to place order, and then likely the qualifiers who will be there to become a business partner, and then dominant performance objective to achieve. So from sales volume, when we have a product at the initial stage, when it's introduced or a new service is offered, we are looking here from the customer point of view. They are innovators. So we look into the sales volume at this stage. There's a preliminary stage, early stage, or introductory stage, and then there will be very few competitors. You bring a new idea, new product to launch, still many people have not aware about, and there will be less competition, and you can have a sale, or you can have more customer to attract. And then the product service characteristics will be one of the key feature or characteristic for likelihood to win the order. And then again, of course, to qualify for likely qualifiers, the range of quality will be one of the more important feature or characteristics. And then if you want to dominate the performance objective, then at that stage we are looking for the flexibility and quality at the same time. When the product or service is going to the next stage, it's going to be growing in the market. So it's possible there are people, they adopt, the early adopter, not just the innovator at this stage, but the adopters, they take it and become loyal to the brand. And the competition will increase definitely at this stage. And then we are looking for the availability, quality, and then likelihood of the range for price, not just quality, and speed, dependability, as well as quality will be the key important objective for performance. maturity level, when the product or service reach to its peak, the market, there will be bulk of customers in the market and the competition will become stable. However, the likely order winners will be again depend on the price, dependability, and supply chain can be the key feature for to be the winner. And then for likely qualifier is the quality and range at the same time, and the performance objective is dominant, again depend on the cost and dependability. However, when the product is declining, so there we can see customers are laggard, competition is declining, the price is decreasing, and the supply is becoming more dependable, as well as the cost is going to be one of the key dominant performance objective here. And this is the, you can see the S curve from where the product start, reach to its peak, and it's gonna decline and will disappear gradually. We will continue our discussion on the discussion forum. As always, there will be article, news article or a magazine or publication, journal publication, and please do raise your questions from workshop and we will continue our discussion. You can also look into your textbook, core book, and reference book for getting more clear understanding for your conceptual understanding of the topic today, the operation strategy, and then bringing it with the three level of corporate, business, and functional strategy, and how the product or service life has the decision can be decided for the operation strategic point of view for the best use of resources, and what are the forces that influencing the long-term, mid-term, and short-term decision. Till that time, I wish you all the best, and we'll catch up in the workshop session and the next part of week 1 pre-recorded lecture. Bye-bye.